and his wife Ngozi lived in a quiet house by the riverside in the small town of Umueke. They had been married for many years, but their house was quiet like a grave. No child, no laughter, no baby cry, only the sound of river behind their house. Every morning when the sun was still small in the sky, Ngozi would walk to the river slowly. She would kneel down, touch her stomach gently, and whisper, "Oh gods of the land, give me one child before I die." She said it like a song, the same way every day, rain or shine, cold or hot. Her voice was soft but full of pain. Obinna would sit behind her, quiet. He no longer begged. He just looked at her and sighed, like a tired wind. People in the town started talking. Some would whisper, "Her womb is locked with padlock." Others would say, "Maybe it's Obinna. Maybe he eats his children in the dream." But Ngozi and Obinna never said anything. They just kept trying. They went from one hospital to another. Doctors checked everything and shook their heads. Medically, nothing is wrong, they always said. Then they started visiting prayer houses. Prophets would pour oil on Ngozi's belly, press her forehead and shout, "Fire, receive your baby now," until Ngozi fainted and fell on the floor like a dried plantain leaf. But nothing happened, only headache and fainting. Next, they went to a native doctor. The man's beard was long like a mop, and his voice sounded like thunder. He gave them bitter herbs. He said, "This one opened a womb that was drier than breadfruit. Drink it." Ngozi drank. Obinna drank. Their mouth twisted like bitter leaf. They believed him, but after 1 month, Ngozi's stomach was still flat like river stone. Still no child. Then they were told to bathe at midnight in the river. They carried calabash, chanted strange words, even walked backwards. The moon just looked at them and said nothing. People told them to sow a seed. Obinna sold his only motorcycle, the one he used to carry firewood to the market. "God will see our sacrifice," he told his wife. Ngozi went on dry fasting. No food, no water. 14 days, her lips cracked, her hands shook, but she kept saying, "Maybe God wants more pain." Year after year, the pain grew like grass in the rainy season. One day in their 15th year of marriage, they met a man of God. His robe was long. He looked at Ngozi and said, "The only way you can carry a baby is if you sleep with me. It is a spiritual covenant." Ngozi's eyes opened wide. She dropped to the floor and cried like a child. "No, I cannot. I will not." That night, she heard Obinna and wept. They didn't speak. They just sat by the river, listening to the frogs sing. From that day, they stopped visiting people. By morning, they packed their things and moved away, far from people, far from noise. They built a small house beside the river. No more hospitals, no more prophets, no more shouting, just silence, just waiting. That's where they stayed quiet, just the two of them. No laughter, no visitors, only hope and the sound of water flowing like time. In the town of Okreka, there was a girl called Chiamaka. Her skin was bright like morning sun. Her hair was long like palm branches. When Chiamaka walked through the village, even goats stopped to look. Boys followed her with their eyes. Men whispered to themselves. Her friends always said, "Chiamaka, you are too fine. Ah, if I had your face, I will marry a governor." Even strangers in the market would say, "This one is not a village girl. She looks like city money." Her parents loved her. Her mother cooked for her. Her father bought everything she needed. But Chiamaka didn't feel it. They would tell her, Chiamaka, sweep the compound. Chiamaka, go and fetch water. Chiamaka, wash the plates. She would hiss and say, am I a house girl? Why are they treating me like a slave? She wanted freedom. She wanted to dress how she liked, do what she wanted, go where she wished. But at home, there were rules. One evening, her parents sat talking. They said something simple, but that small word entered Chiamaka's heart like a thorn. Her face changed. That night, when everyone was asleep, she quietly packed her things, a small bag, some clothes, her mirror, and her cream. She left a short note by the door. I have gone to find a better life. Don't look for me. Then she left just like that. They had not even crowed when her parents woke up and found the letter. They shouted, they cried, they ran from street to street calling her name. Chiamaka, Chiamaka, come back. But it was too late. She was gone, like smoke in the wind. Chiamaka followed the road until her feet ached, but she didn't stop. At last, she reached a new town. She didn't know anybody there, but that didn't matter. Her face did the talking. Her beauty was loud, loud like a drum. Her shape made people turn twice. Her walk was like music. When she smiled, men's eyes followed her like flies chasing honey. Women whispered, who is this one? But they couldn't stop looking. She found a place to stay, a small room, but clean. She bought new clothes, short skirts that danced with the wind, tight gowns that showed her shape. She painted her lips. She did her hair. She wore perfume that filled the air like flower scent. And best of all, nobody told her what to do. No one said, sweep here. No one said, cover your body. She slept when she wanted. She woke when she liked. She laughed every day. She made new friends. Girls like her who loved enjoyment. They painted nails, danced to loud music, and took pictures by the roadside. Now I'm free, Chiamaka said one evening looking at her reflection in a car window. But one day, as she passed by a big house, a man in white clothes and gold chain saw her. His eyes followed her like a hawk. His name was Chief Ikenna, and that was the day everything began to change. Chief Ikenna was not just rich, he was heavy with money. His houses stood like palaces. His cars lined the compound like goats at feeding time. He had 4 wives already and 7 daughters, but no son. And that thing, no son, was a thorn in his flesh. No hair, no one to carry his name. Every time he sat in his chair, he would sigh, what is all this wealth if I don't have a son? Who will take over when I'm gone? The other wives tried. They fasted, they prayed, they begged prophets, but still only girls came. One day, Chief Ikenna saw Chiamaka walking past a big store. Her waist was moving like rope in the wind. Her skin was glowing like yam peeled in water. His heart jumped. Who is that girl? He asked his driver. I don't know, sir, the man replied. Find out, Chief Ikenna said. It didn't take long. 2 weeks later, Chiamaka walked into his compound in a red wrapper, her face shining with makeup and pride. Fine girl, Chief Ikenna smiled. Big man, Chiamaka laughed. He bought her gold. He gave her money. He treated her like the only woman in the world. I want you as my wife, he said. Chiamaka's eyes opened wide. Wife? Like real wife? Yes, he said. The one who will give me what others could not. Chiamaka smiled sweetly and leaned close to his ear. Her voice was soft like wind on dry leaves. I will give you a son, my lord. That night, the traditional wedding was done. There was music. There was dancing. People came with gifts. The compound was full. When she entered his house, the other wives looked at her and kept quiet. They saw how the chief treated her. They saw how he laughed only with her. Even the servants changed her bed sheets every day. Her room smelled of rose water and respect. Chief Ikenna touched her stomach every morning. "My queen," he would say, "my son is coming." And just like that, Chiamaka became number one. One early morning, before the birds began to sing, Chiamaka woke up and ran to the toilet. She vomited 3 times. Her legs were shaking. Her heart was dancing. She held her stomach and smiled. It has happened. The maids ran to call Chief Ikenna. "Sir, Madam is not feeling well." He jumped from his bed like a boy. "What is wrong with her? What does she need?" But when the doctor came and checked her, he smiled and said, "Congratulations, sir. She's carrying a baby." Chief Ikenna shouted, "Ha! My son is coming." He clapped his hands and danced in the compound. "Call the drummers, call the cooks. Let this house know joy today." From that day, the compound changed like harmattan, turning to rain. Chiamaka no longer walked. She was carried. Her food was cooked fresh every 2 hours. Chicken pepper soup, pineapple water, soft yam with palm oil. Anything she wanted, she got. Her room was swept 3 times a day. Her bed sheet smelled like flowers. Even her bath water was warm and full of scent. The other wives watched from the side, their eyes cold, their smiles fake. They gathered in the corner, whispering with bitterness in their throats. So it's now she will take all the chief's love because of pregnancy. Let us see what she brings out. But Chiamaka didn't care. Every time Chief Ikenna touched her stomach, she smiled. "My son is kicking," she would say. And the chief would close his eyes, nodding slowly. "Yes, my hair is strong." Even the town began to talk. Chiamaka has done what others could not. She is blessed. She is the chosen one. Chiamaka would stand in front of the mirror, rub her belly slowly and whisper, "I must win. This child, you better be a boy or else you won't like what I will make of you if you dare comes as a useless girl." She believed it with all her heart because in her mind, she was not carrying just a baby. She was carrying a throne. One night, when the moon was full and the wind was quiet, Chiamaka's scream broke the air. "Ah, it's coming, it's coming," she shouted. The midwives rushed in with their clothes. Chief Ikenna stood outside, walking up and down like a hungry lion. Inside the room, sweat poured on Chiamaka's face. Her hands grabbed the bed. Her voice shook the wall. Then the baby came. The room was quiet. The baby cried a softly cry like a kitten calling for milk. One of the midwives looked down. Her face changed. The head midwife looked down too and frowned. She cleaned the baby, then whispered, "It's a girl." Chiamaka sat up fast. "What?" she shouted. No, check again. It must be a mistake." But the midwife shook her head. "Madam, it's a baby girl." Chiamaka's face changed. Her smile died. Her eyes turned cold. "I promised him a boy," she said slowly. I told him I will give him a son." She held the baby with shaky hands. The child's eyes were blinking. Her fingers were tiny. Her skin soft like egusi seed. But Chiamaka could not smile. She could not say thank God. Then she turned to the midwives. Her voice became desperate. "Please, a poor woman gave birth tonight too, in the small hut behind the compound. I heard she had a boy. Let us switch. Take my girl. Give me her boy. Please help me." The women stood still. They looked at each other, then looked at her. "Madam," one of them said gently, "we do not trade children. This is your child. Carry her." Chiamaka looked down at the baby. The little girl yawned. She was calm, innocent, unaware of the storm around her. But her mother's heart was not at peace. The child she had was not the child she wanted. Later that night, when the drums had stopped and the house was asleep, Chiamaka opened her door quietly. The baby was wrapped in soft clothes. Her eyes were closed, but she was breathing. Small sweet breaths like morning wind. Chiamaka didn't carry the baby like a mother. She held her like a secret. The compound was quiet. Even the dogs didn't bark. Only the sound of frogs in the bush and the soft crying of the baby. The river behind the house was wide and dark. It moved slowly like it was thinking. Chiamaka stood at the edge. Her feet touched the cold mud. The baby started to cry, not loud, just soft whimpers, like she knew something was wrong. Chiamaka looked at the child. Her face was smooth, her mouth opened and closed, searching for milk. Then Chiamaka said, "I cannot raise a girl. A girl is useless. She brings nothing but shame. I promised a boy, a prince, not this." She raised her hands and just like that, she threw the baby. The baby hit the water. The river opened its arms. It didn't shout. It didn't fight. It just carried the child away. The clothes floated for a moment, then disappeared into the black water. Chiamaka wiped her hands on her wrapper. Her face showed nothing. No tears, no fear, just cold silence. She walked back slowly, like someone returning from the market. But her mind was not quiet. What will I say? What if he checks the body? What if they ask questions? She wiped her tears, straightened her wrapper, and bit her lips till they turned red again. She stopped near the kitchen door and picked a torn piece of clothes. She dipped it in water, rubbed it on her chest, and smudged a little on her thighs. Then she entered the room. Chief Ikenna was sitting up. His eyes were swollen with sleep, but full of hope. "My queen, is it a boy?" he asked, voice shaking like old drum. Chiamaka paused. She touched her belly like it carried something. Then she gave a small broken cry. She covered her face with her palm and sat on the edge of the bed. "It was a boy," she whispered. Her voice cracked. She sniffed. She let one single tear fall. Chief Ikenna's heart jumped. "A boy? Then where is he? What happened?" Chiamaka turned her head away. She shook gently like dry plants in Harmattan wind. He died," she said. Just as he came out, he didn't even cry long. He just went silent. She covered her face again and wept loudly now. Fake tears, but loud enough to sound real. Chief Ikenna's mouth opened wide. He held his chest, then her hand. He didn't question. He didn't check. He believed. His voice was low, broken. "The gods give it, and the gods take it." He pulled her into his arms and whispered, "We will try again. You gave me hope once. You will do it again, my queen." Chiamaka closed her eyes, resting her head on his chest. But in her heart, there was no peace. Because deep down, she knew she had not buried a son. She had buried her shame. But the gods had seen everything, and the river was not sleeping. The river carried the baby far, rocking her gently as if it knew her pain. The moonlight fell on the water, guiding her path downstream in the quiet village of Umueke. A poor fisherman named Obinna was returning home with an empty net. His wife Ngozi sat by the river bank waiting, her wrapper tied loosely around her tired body. She had prayed for years for a child, but none had come. Then Obinna heard a sound, a faint cry. At first, he thought it was a bird, but as he walked closer to the water, he saw a small bundle floating. He shouted, "Ngozi, come quickly." They pulled the bundle from the water. Inside was a baby girl, wet but breathing. Her tiny fingers coiled around Ngozi's thumb. Ngozi's eyes widened. Tears rolled down her face. The gods has answered us, Obinna. Look, she is ours. She is ours. Obinna trembled, his heart pounding. He looked up at the sky. Chiuku, thank you. You have remembered us. They took the baby home, dried her, and wrapped her in a fresh clothes. All night, Ngozi sang to her, rocking her to sleep. By morning, the whole village of Umueke gathered. Whose child is this? They asked. Obinna raised his hand and said, the river gave her to us. She is ours now. They named her Adugo, daughter of Ego, because she came as a gift, strong and precious. Years passed. Adugo grew tall and graceful, with eyes like the morning sun, and laughter that filled the compound. She was loved by everyone in Umueke. Ngozi and Obinna raised her with care. They taught her kindness, respect, and the way of their people. Adugo was not only beautiful, she was wise. She learned to weave baskets, sing folk songs, and dance at the festivals. The elders often said, this girl is not ordinary, she is blessed. But far away in Chief Ikenna's house, Chiamaka was not at peace. She thought she had buried her secret in the river, but the river had not buried her. At night, she heard soft cries in her sleep, a baby's cry, calling her name. Sometimes, she saw wet footprints near her bed. Other nights, her dreams showed her a girl's face rising from the water. She would wake up screaming, leave me, leave me. The other wives whispered, she is running mad. The gods are punishing her. Chief Ikenna tried to comfort her, but the torments grew stronger. Chiamaka began visiting dibias and shrines, carrying goats, chicken, and pots of palm wine, begging the gods for peace, but peace did not come. The more she ran, the closer the river called. One year, the festival of the New Yam came. Villagers from far and wide gathered in Umueke. The drummers played, masquerades danced, and the maidens lined up in white wrappers to sing. Adugo, now 16, stepped forward. Her beauty shone like the morning star. Her voice rose above the others, clear and sweet. Chief Ikenna and Chiamaka had come as guests of honor. When Chiamaka saw Adugo, her heart froze. She gasped and she held her chest. That girl, she looks like me. Her hands trembled, sweat poured down her face. Memories of that night by the river struck her heart like lightning. Impossible, she whispered. She should be gone. She should be dead. But the river had not kept her secret. The river had raised it into flesh and blood. Not long after the festival, word spread quickly across villages. Adugo, the girl of Umueke, is a gift of the river. She is not ordinary. Chief Ikenna heard it too. He remembered his wife's cries years ago, the story of a dead son. His heart began to ask questions. One night, the truth could not hide anymore. In a dream, the river itself spoke to Chiamaka. You threw away life. You rejected a blessing. Now the child lives, and you will face her. She woke up, shaking. Her wrapper soaked with sweat she could not hide again. The elders of Umueke called a great meeting. The square was filled. Men, women, and children sat waiting. The drums were silent. The air was heavy. Adugo stood in the center, tall and calm. Ngozi and Obinna stood beside her. On the other side, Chiamaka and Chief Ikenna entered. Chiamaka's face was pale, her eyes red from sleepless nights. The eldest elder raised his staff and spoke. Truth is like smoke. No matter how you cover it, it will rise. Today, the river has brought truth to our feet. Let the child and the mother face each other. Chiamaka fell on her knees, tears rushing from her eyes. My daughter, forgive me. I was blind. I was foolish. I threw you away because I wanted a son. but the gods shamed me. They kept you alive, please forgive me. The crowd murmured, some spat on the ground. A mother who threw away her child is cursed, they said. Adugo looked at her with calm eyes. She did not cry. She did not shout. She stepped forward slowly. Mother, I carry no hate in my heart. You gave me life, even if you threw it away. But the river gave me love. Mama Ngozi raised me. Papa Obinna gave me care. The gods wanted me to live, and so I lived. She paused, her voice strong. I forgive you, but forgiveness does not erase truth. You must carry your shame and seek peace from the river you offended. Chiamaka wept loudly, rolling on the ground. My child, my child. But Adugo stepped back and turned to hold Ngozi's hand. She walked away, leaving Chiamaka crying in the dust. The elders shook their heads. The gods are wise. The river never forgets. From that day, Chiamaka lived with the weight of her choice. She spent her days by the river, singing, crying, begging for forgiveness. Some said they saw her shadow walking along the water at night, calling Adugo's name. But Adugo's life blossomed. She grew into a woman of strength and honor, known far and wide as the girl the river carried, the child of faith. Her story became a lesson. Never reject what the gods give, for their gift may come in ways you do not expect. And so, the tale of Chiamaka and Adugo lived on in Umueke, whispered by mothers to daughters, told by elders to children, under the moonlight. I hope you enjoyed the story. If so, please like the video, share it with your family and friends, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more